Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies must compete with well-established currencies. Most of us are already using some other money, and most of the base monies we use are issued by governments. That means that for Bitcoin or some other cryptocurrency to succeed, it must convince users to stop using government-issued monies for some transactions. Governments might not be so keen on losing market share to private alternatives. Perhaps they want to keep the profits that come from issuing money. Perhaps they worry that cryptocurrencies undermine law enforcement efforts. Or perhaps they believe that cryptocurrencies will make consumers worse off. Whatever the reason, there are three ways a government can discourage use. In the most extreme scenario, a government might ban Bitcoin. Some countries, including Bolivia, Ecuador, Kyrgyzstan, and Bangladesh, already have. Others have taken partial measures or are considering bans. China banned cryptocurrency exchanges and initial coin offerings in 2017. Russia issued a draft bill to ban cryptocurrencies in October 2014, and at least some continue to worry it will follow through. Are government bans effective? Since it's difficult to tie an individual to his or her balance of Bitcoin, it's difficult to punish those ignoring the ban. Difficult, but not impossible. When you purchase a good or service, there's usually some point in the transaction where you actually receive the good or service. And at that point, your identity is vulnerable to detection. Governments can conduct sting operations. They can also punish merchants who advertise that they would accept Bitcoin. Such efforts would surely reduce the demand for Bitcoin. The reality is that most people would prefer to stay on the right side of the law. Why risk being caught using a banned currency to buy milk and bread? Privacy is just not that important to most people in most situations. No doubt a government would find it difficult, perhaps even impossible, to eliminate all Bitcoin transactions, but a committed government would have little trouble making Bitcoin sufficiently unattractive for most users, and that would significantly limit Bitcoin's potential network size. Most governments are not banning Bitcoin. Instead, many have opted for regulation. Regulations are usually justified to protect consumers, to prevent illegal transactions and transfers, or to promote broader macroeconomic policy goals. Although some regulation is to be expected, excessive regulation dissuades use. Excessive regulation increases the cost of spending cryptocurrencies. It might also make it difficult to exchange cryptocurrencies for local money. Unfortunately, where governments have opted to regulate Bitcoin, excessive regulation is the norm. In the United States, for example, CoinCenter finds that 39 states have cryptocurrency regulations that are overbroad or unclear. Only 10 states have clear and narrowly tailored regulations. Excessive regulation makes the market for Bitcoin smaller than it otherwise would be. Finally, governments might discourage Bitcoin use by offering their own cryptocurrencies. Indeed, some already have. Ecuador launched the Dinero Electrónico in 2014, though the project was recently deactivated. Venezuela launched the Petro in 2018, and Russia is planning to issue a crypto ruble in 2019. To date, these efforts have had little effect on the market for cryptocurrencies. But that could change if a more reliable issuer, like the United States, were to offer a digital coin. It's worth noting that a government-issued coin need not be superior to discourage use of private sector alternatives. As long as the government coin is good enough, few of us will consider switching to alternatives like Bitcoin. Cryptocurrencies offer great promise for financial privacy and international payments. But that promise depends, at least in part, on how governments respond. Bans, excessive regulation, and government-issued coins are three major obstacles for widespread private cryptocurrency use.